In the year 2000, a small DVD mail company offered to sell itself to Blockbuster for $50 million. Blockbuster's executives reportedly struggled not to laugh them out of the room. That company was Netflix. You've heard this story. It's the most famous bad decision in business history. It's also almost completely irrelevant to why Blockbuster died. Here's what the meme leaves out. Blockbuster did build a Netflix competitor. It launched late, spent big, and it was winning. In 2007, Netflix's own executives were worried. So if Blockbuster saw the future, built the product, and was beating Netflix at its own game, why is there exactly one Blockbuster left on Earth? The answer isn't a failure of vision. It's a company that was financially rigged to die years before that famous meeting by its own parent company. That's the real story, and it's much more interesting than the meme. To understand the death, you need to understand what Blockbuster actually was. Not a movie company, a real estate and logistics machine. In 1985, a Dallas software entrepreneur named David Cook opened the first store with a genuine innovation, a computerized inventory system. While mom-and-pop video shops stocked whatever the owner liked, Blockbuster analyzed each neighborhood and stocked accordingly. 10,000 tapes per store, family-friendly, fluorescent-lit, open late. Wayne Huizenga, the man who'd already built a garbage collection empire, bought in and did what he did best. He rolled up an entire fragmented industry. At its peak, Blockbuster was opening a new store roughly every 17 hours. By 2004, more than 9,000 stores, tens of thousands of employees, and around $6 billion in annual revenue. And buried in that revenue was the most profitable product Blockbuster ever invented, the late fee. At its peak, late fees brought in roughly $800 million a year. Money customers paid for the privilege of being punished. Remember that number. It's a loaded gun. In 1994, Viacom bought Blockbuster for $8.4 billion. Hold on to that, too, because what Viacom did on the way out is what actually killed the company. Now, the famous scene, Dallas 2000. Reed Hastings and Mark Randolph of Netflix propose a deal. Buy us for $50 million, we'll run your online brand. Blockbuster passes. The dot-com crash is in full swing. Netflix is bleeding money. And honestly, at that moment, it wasn't an obviously insane call. Netflix itself was months from nearly selling for scraps. The meme says this is where Blockbuster chose death. But watch what actually happened next. In 2004, Blockbuster launched Blockbuster Online. In 2006, it rolled out Total Access, rent online, return in any store. Netflix couldn't match that. It had no stores. Total Access started pulling in subscribers so fast that Netflix's stock slid, and Reed Hastings reportedly flew to meet Blockbuster to propose a deal. Blockbuster had the product, it had the brand. It had 9,000 physical advantages Netflix could never build. What it didn't have was money. And here's the part the meme never tells you. When Viacom spun Blockbuster off in 2004, it didn't just set it free. On the way out the door, Blockbuster took on around $1 billion in debt, much of it to fund a special dividend of roughly $5 a share, a payout that flowed overwhelmingly to Viacom and its shareholders. Read that again. The parent company extracted a fortune from a business it knew was facing disruption and left the child holding the loan. Blockbuster didn't enter the streaming war with a war chest. It entered with a mortgage. Debt changes everything. Debt means every dollar spent on the future is a dollar not spent servicing the past. Total Access was winning, but it was winning expensively. Every new subscriber cost money up front. CEO John Antioco wanted to keep spending, kill late fees, fund the online war, accept short-term pain. The board pushed hard by activist investor Carl Icahn, who'd taken a large stake in 2005, saw a company with $1 billion debt load lighting cash on fire, and the franchisees revolted. Ending late fees meant vaporizing hundreds of millions in pure profit. Their profit, the very store network that made Total Access unbeatable, was politically committed to the old model. In 2007, it snapped. Antioco left after a dispute with the board, nominally over his bonus. His replacement, Jim Keyes, came from 7-Eleven. Keyes looked at the numbers and made the rational sounding call. Pull spending back from the money-losing online war, refocus on the stores. Rational for a debtor, fatal for the future. Netflix, debt-light, store-free, answerable to no franchisees, kept spending, then leapt to streaming. Blockbuster filed for bankruptcy in September 2010, owing nearly $1 billion. Dish Network bought the remains at auction. Today, one store survives in Bend, Oregon, as a tourist attraction, one human detail. In its final years, Blockbuster Corporate quietly reintroduced late fees under the name restocking fees. The company died reaching for the same loaded gun. So what actually killed Blockbuster? Not blindness, not the $50 million no. 3 structural facts. 1. Its most profitable product, late fees, punished customers, which meant the future had to be built by destroying the present. 2. Its greatest asset, the stores and franchisees, was politically incapable of supporting the transition. And 3. The debt. A company that had the winning strategy in hand could not afford to keep executing it. Blockbuster didn't fail to see the future. It was sold a mortgage on its past, and the payments came due at the worst possible moment. That's the repeatable pattern. When a business gets extracted from, by a parent, by private equity, by its own dividend policy, the damage stays invisible until the moment it needs to reinvent. Disruption doesn't kill healthy companies, it kills leveraged ones. The meme says Blockbuster laughed Netflix out of the room and paid for it. The truth is, Blockbuster built a Netflix killer, watched it work, and couldn't afford to keep it alive because someone else had already taken the money. And if you think that extraction playbook ended in 2004, the same structure is sitting inside companies you shopped at this month. One of them invented online retail 70 years before Amazon and still lost. That story's next.